on this week's Bondi Vet Top 5.
There's a little bit of blood.
Oh my God, what is that?
I mean, that's very swollen. Can you see the abrasion there? She broken the skin?
Yeah, we don't know what's going on and we can't get him to stop it.
She knows that if his condition gets much worse, she'll have no choice but to put him down.
This week's number 5.
You don't tickle her head in the right spot, she lets you know.
Back at the Bondi Clinic, a new patient has arrived for Chris, a pet cockatiel called Cheeky.
We go almost everywhere together. Shower, shops, bike riding, car, bank. Yep.
Do you both want to come through? Who do I ask, Cheeky or you, Brennan?
I both.
Both, okay.
I've noticed some drops of blood today on the bathroom floor, so she is bleeding, not from her feet, I think from her genitals, so I was really quite worried about that.
Oh.
You sort of just have to tell her, not ask her. That's
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gotta be firm.
Yeah.
She's a strong woman.
She is. So if you just tell her what you want to do, she'll do it.
She likes assertive men.
She does.
It's always been a problem. Come on. Now, Cheeky, no. Yeah, you're gonna get up there. Thank you. It's the way you go. It's how you treat a woman. So I guess a few drops of blood doesn't sound like much, but in a bird, that's...
Quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit. Okay. So I just want to have a good look at her. There is a little bit of blood around here. What's this going on?
Oh my God, what is that?
At the base of that gap is a hole.
Yes.
And that's where that blood's coming from.
Yes.
So I think she's actually lost a feather.
Sweet lamb.
What we'll do is just clean it up with some antiseptic and just try and clean around the base of where that feather's come out. So I guess we need to work out how she's done this, because the worry is that if she does this when you're not around or when you're asleep and she actually has a decent bleed, she can actually get into quite serious trouble. So has she been doing anything abnormal behaviour-wise?
What Prem's struggling to say is that the naughty Cheeky spends too much time self-pleasuring.
How often?
She does it every day.
Yeah. For how long?
Sometimes a lot every day. Sometimes for 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
Yeah.
Cheeky is so incredibly sexually frustrated, so wound up, that not only is she pleasuring herself, she's gone to the next step. She's pulling her own feathers out. What does she do it against?
There's a part of the twig that she always kind of backs up against. Mm-hmm. She stands on one leg to get like right in the right position. It's really funny. She'll like lower herself right down on one leg.
I think that comes under the title of a little bit too much information. Cheeky, get on the hand.
That's it.
So what is the solution to stop Cheeky's harmful habit?
She's doing that right now because the weather's just warmed up.
Yeah.
And because of that, she has all this energy, but also all these messages in her body saying, you must mate, you must breed. But there's nothing around her that she can mate with.
Yeah.
So what she needs to do to lower that sexual frustration is to convince Cheeky that it's actually not springtime. And the way you do that is actually lessen the daylight hours. Put Cheeky to bed in a darkened room at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So Cheeky, sounds like you're going to get the treatment you deserve. Early to bed like all bad girls. There you go. See you, Cheeky.
Number 4.
Hey, Frankie.
So I've just noticed she's sucking on her toes.
At the Australian Reptile Park, Tim and curator Hayley are dealing with a seemingly simple but potentially fatal problem with 10-month-old kangaroo Frankie.
Sit still, Frankie. Can't be that big a deal, right? I mean, kids suck their thumb. Obvious. I mean, she's just starting to get an abrasion here.
Yeah.
Look at that. Is she doing it all the time?
Mostly when I'm not with her, as a comfort thing. I think when I'm not there.
Yeah. It seems extreme to say that toe sucking could be life-threatening, but I had a Joey that sucked so much it basically degloved its finger. The infection set in and I lost it. let's just pop out for a minute and have a watch, and then we might take her in and have a better look.
Sounds good.
Okay, stay there, Frankie.
Tim wants to see firsthand how serious Frankie's bad habit has become.
Oh, well, she's on her toes now. Well, that didn't take long.
Yeah.
Frankie had a bit of a nightmare scenario. Her mum, Ollie, developed mastitis, got an infection, and Frankie and mum Ollie had to be separated.
Hayley has been Frankie's surrogate mum 24/7.
I don't even think I know how many animals I've raised over the years. Frankie's just at that stage now where she's doing the old boxing kangaroo. But when you're trying to cook dinner and she's attached to your leg, boxing your leg, between the 3 kids and the kangaroo in the kitchen, it's time consuming.
So like you thought, the second you leave...
Starts comforting herself by sucking on her toes. I can't be with her constantly. In mum's pouch, she'd be suckling on the teat inside the pouch, or she'd be with mum, so it's comfort.
And how long's it been happening for?
Just the past few days I've noticed it, but you can see how much damage she's done to the toes just in those few days.
That's pretty obvious. The second you leave, she's... Fretting.
And I think when I leave, she starts thinking, where's mum, where's mum? So she sucks the first thing in front of her face, which is either her toe or her finger, and that calms her and she thinks mum's with her.
Let's grab her, take her into the prep room and just have a bit of a look.
Come on, Frankie girl.
Tim now wants to do a closer examination of Frankie's damaged toes, hoping they've caught the problem before it's too late. Toes.
So this one is worse.
Yep, so we're on the inside, grooming claw. Ah, yeah, well, she's already broken skin. And that's going to get infected real soon.
Separated from her mother, the fragile young Joey has been sucking her toes whenever surrogate mum Hayley leaves her side.
Hey, I can't be with you every second. You wouldn't think it was a big deal, but the slightest thing with a kangaroo and it just seems to plummet.
I mean, that's very swollen. Can you see the abrasion there?
Yeah.
Has she broken the skin?
Yeah, just in the crease.
I mean, and that whole toe should be furred.
Yeah.
Tim and Hayley know all too well that Joeys can quickly die from infection caused by sucking their toes.
Just look at the size difference there. And they're both swollen, but that's bordering becoming infected.
Yeah.
I've seen kangaroos in particular strip the skin off, back to flesh. And the bacteria in the mouth causes an infection really quickly. So we will overreact because it can end really badly.
There's no pus?
No, not yet. I think we've got it early enough.
I think you've got it just in time.
It's okay, Frankie, we'll get it sorted.
Fortunately, Hayley has caught it early. But there's not an automatic remedy for toe suckers.
How are we going to treat it?
You know I've got some ideas. I've always got ideas. I've got a fair idea on what to do. It doesn't always work, but I'm hoping it will with Frankie.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a pretty little pair of girls' socks.
Tim always thinks outside the box. I don't think he's ever thought inside the box.
You like the polka dot or the pink?
No, plain. She's definitely plain. His ideas are a bit crazy, but don't tell him, but usually they work. Oh, Frankie, what's he doing to you?
And if we have to,
Do you like
we
those?
will do your hands too. So don't suck them. Number 2. Oh, what? Hey!
She doesn't like that one. It's okay, Frankie.
Hey, leave it alone! Leave it alone!
Pink socks today. Hilarious. It looks ridiculous. She just tried to rip it straight off her foot, but fingers crossed, but I think it's going to work.
Can't pull it off?
Nope.
Here.
It's good.
Tim now wants to make sure his unusual remedy actually works.
As long as she can't get to those toes for a little while and we break her out of that habit. So my idea was good.
Yes.
Was that tough to say?
It was hard.
There's only one way to test it, and that's to take Frankie out and have a look at her mobility. See whether she's totally distracted by the mittens or if she just gets on as usual.
Okay.
All right, come on, Frankie. Righto, Frankie. Out you come. Show us what you got. You got your new shoes.
Socks work?
They're hoping the protective socks will deter the Joey from toe sucking.
Come on, little one. So far, so good. No, not back in your bag. Not back in your bag.
She's embarrassed.
No, she's not.
I don't have the slightest worry whether Frankie thinks this is a poor fashion statement. I'm interested in her health, not how she looks.
Come on, Frank. No one can see you.
Come on, hatch up. There you go. Come on. Oh, she's not sure. The mittens are a serious cure. She may need them for weeks a month. There will come a natural time when she will grow out of the desire to suck toes. Frankie, come for a little run. Here, come on. Back this way, back this way. Oh, you did well. In you go. Hey, you missed. There you go, sweetie.
She did good.
To provide a further distraction, Tim has another accessory for little Frankie.
My idea. It's pretty high tech. Let's give her a dummy.
I like it.
Happy?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Will be.
I think if she does this, she'll take it straight away. But she's going to drop it, and that's going to be a problem for you at midnight because, like a little kid, she's not going to know where her dummy is. So I think that if we just go with a little bulldog clip, try that.
Look at that. Now she can't spit the dummy.
She can't spit the dummy. Okay, we happy?
She looks happy. Just be like being back in Mum's pouch, Frankie.
Okay. Watching babies of anything grow up is spectacular. They're very cute, but you've also intervened to save a life. That, for me, is the good stuff.
Good girl, Frankie.
Pretty pleased at my handiwork. What do you think, Frankie?
This week's number 3.
I'm really looking forward to my next patient. I don't get to see too many donkeys in the clinic, but when I was a kid, I used to have a pet donkey. He was called Pablo, and ever since then, I've just been fascinated by them.
Chris is about to help some other orphans at a famous donkey sanctuary outside Melbourne. The refuge is run by humanitarian May Dodd.
Here at the shelter, we have about 150 donkeys in residence. They tend to be rescue donkeys of one form or another, either because of abuse, abandonment or neglect, or indeed that the owners are just too old to be able to cope with them anymore.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming.
That's all right. Nice to meet you.
Hi. Come on in.
Where's this donkey we need to look at?
It's this one here.
Wow. That's quite dramatic, May. May tells me that for the last week, Dusty has been walking and running in a really bizarre way. She doesn't know what's caused it. She has no idea. What she does know is that it's not normal. That's really something. It's very rare to see that. That is definitely not normal. It's almost like someone has control of his legs with little puppet strings and they're pulling them up and down. But it must be awful for him because he just really struggles to get around. You've gone back the way you walk, yeah?
Dusty has been with May for a year.
We'll see what we can do, huh?
The donkey arrived at the shelter in terrible condition with one eye missing.
How did he lose his eye, do you know?
I have no idea.
He was just like that when he came to the shelter?
Yeah.
Now, with this walking,
Yep.
a recent thing?
Yes, and it seemed to start off with one leg and then alternate, and now it's in both legs. And I'm just a bit worried he's distressed.
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me the most is that if we can't do anything, where is this leading to?
There are a couple of things that could be causing this. Probably the most important thing to do is give them a really good check over now and just see if there are any sore spots to start with. Okay. May is really worried about Dusty, and it's easy to see why. She knows that if his condition gets much worse and he can no longer walk, then she'll have no choice but to put him down. We'll need to find a solution here and find it fast. I just want to check through here to make sure, first of all, there's no pain in his spine. What I'm looking for along Dusty's spine are really any areas of soreness, any areas where he may have slipped a disc or he may have a pinched nerve. That could cause this strange walk. So you can see it's not worrying him. In fact, I think he quite enjoys the massage.
Well, seems to.
So I think we can safely say a back problem isn't causing that walk.
Well, that's good.
All right, next thing I want to check are his hooves.
Yep.
If he's got sore feet, then you can imagine yourself, if you've got bindies in your feet, what do?
Yeah, you hop.
You hold them up.
Yeah.
And you really don't want to put much weight on them.
Yep.
And that would explain why he's walking the way he is.
wicked. Okay. Sorry, Chris.
They actually look pretty good.
Good. So what is it?
Yeah, well, that's the big question, isn't it? With no problems in Dusty's spine and his back feet showing no issues at all, then this is a bit of a mystery. But I've got a hunch. There's something that affects horses that could be affecting Dusty. And the cause, it's right underneath us. See, when I look at Dusty and see the way he walks, I know his back's not sore.
Yep.
I know that his feet aren't sore. But his walking is really, really abnormal.
Yes.
And the answer could actually be in here somewhere.
In the pasture.
Uh-huh. There's something in my gut that's just saying that Dusty has string halt. It's a condition caused by a plant toxin which is found in some very select weeds. Now, donkeys eat this, it goes straight to their muscles and affects how those muscles fire. I'm looking for something in here. It's actually quite nasty.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't take a lot of it to cause a donkey like Dusty problems.
Okay.
If my hunch is right, then the weed that most commonly causes string halt is going to be somewhere in this paddock. I've just got to find it.
Come on, Dusty.
Ha. Here. See this? This weed here has a toxin in it. It's called flatweed. I'm sure a lot of people have seen this weed in their own gardens. But for a donkey, just to eat a small amount of it, it can cause what is a really dramatic problem. So he eats the weed, goes into his system.
Yeah.
The toxins go to his hamstrings.
Okay.
And they actually cause little spots there.
Right.
And the muscle dies off. And when that happens, the nerves no longer fire properly. So when he's walking along, it's like he gets a cramp each time.
Oh,
and it lifts up his leg.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And for him, the whole cause of all of his problems, of that strange way he walks, is sitting right there.
It seemed remarkable that something so sparse and so small could have such a devastating effect on a relatively large animal. But I guess the toxin must be quite potent. So, Dusty, unbeknownst to me, you've become addicted to weeds. What a silly sausage. Hey? All your leg problems are coming from that. So, we're going to have to rehabilitate you.
It seems really strange that with all the other grasses available, Dusty wants to eat this weed, but that's what happens. They really get a taste of the particular flavours in this plant, and they keep on coming back for more. It's almost like Dusty is a weed addict. We really need to find a spot where there's just no access to that flat weed at all. A little rehab area.
Okay.
You got the spot for us?
Well, I think so. I'll show you. You see what you think.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Come on then, let's show. Come on. That's it.
Game's up, isn't it, huh? May's property is huge and absolutely covered in flatweed. We need to isolate Dusty and take away that temptation, otherwise his problem's only going to get worse.
Come on. My first thought was, well, I can't dig out every single weed on 160 acres, so what on earth am I going to do? And so, inevitably, the idea of stabling is the obvious answer.
Dusty's rehabilitation will run for up to 3 months.
We reviewed your case, and as soon as though you didn't really know you were doing something bad, you get a reward rather than punishment.
He will spend his days detoxing on hay, and hopefully then he'll be able to return to a paddock stripped of the offending weed.
Slow and steady steps for Dusty, and I'm very hopeful he'll be back to normal. Certainly enjoying that chat.
I think there's a few jealous donkeys around here.
Yes, that's right.
And now plotting how they can get on the weed as well.
Probably.
But now, Chris has one final test for the donkey.
You know all donkeys are born with a button, an ear button?
No.
You heard about this?
No.
Every donkey.
What's an ear button?
Let's check. Is your ear button working? Yep. It's in operation.
Well, that's good. You've got enough problems, you don't need that.
It's routine service again? Yep.
Yeah.
There we go, good. The ear button works.
Hang on.
Number 2.
Okay, we're here.
In Brisbane, Alison has been asked to check out a disturbed rescue dog that's left his foster carer Sally desperate for help.
Hi, Sally. How are you? This must be Ronnie. This is Ronnie. Hey, Ronnie. Nice to meet you.
Ronnie was an unclaimed stray.
Can I come in?
When we first picked Ronnie up, the first night was fine, he slept through the night, but the next day I realised that we were dealing with a very anxious little dog.
Oh, I'm getting quite nervous.
The 3-year-old Jack Russell Terrier
Oh my God.
literally runs rings around himself.
Hey, mate, come on.
Oh my gosh, that is...
Yeah.
I'm actually lost for words. I don't actually know what to do to stop Ronnie doing this behaviour.
So he was all in my arms, really nice and relaxed. And then
all of a sudden he goes stiff.
I saw that he was sort of...
Yeah, checking out his tail.
This is definitely the most extreme case of tail chasing that I have ever seen.
Is it affecting you to that extent?
It really is affecting us because we don't know what's going on and we can't tell him that it's okay and we can't get him to stop it. It's scary to watch and it's quite confronting. My major concern is that he's hurting himself.
Ronnie, stop.
It's okay. Where he's got a hold of his tail and really bitten into it hard, we can see that it's bleeding. I'm really desperate for some answers. He does, yeah.
It's okay. I am worried about you, buddy.
Ronnie, stop.
It's okay.
In Brisbane, Alison is shocked at little rescue dog Ronnie's obsessive tail chasing and biting.
It's a bit of the chicken and egg situation, whether something's happened to his tail in the past that's caused him to be very obsessed with it, or whether he's just got obsessive behaviours and has chosen to attack his tail. So we're going to do a physical exam on him, just see if there's anything there on the back end that might be causing him some pain or discomfort.
Good boy.
Good job. So I can definitely see some scabs on the parts of his tail that he can bite. He's really chewed at this because you can see the hair's all short. If Ronnie's having some pain or discomfort in his tail, his chewing and his biting could actually be because he's trying to relieve himself of that discomfort. I'm going to start him on some pain relief.
Okay.
And that's going to sort of assess whether pain is causing the issue. If he's on pain relief and he stops biting, maybe pain was the reason why he was doing it all the time.
Yeah.
And the pain relief I'm actually going to give him also gives him a bit of a sedative side effect.
Okay.
We'll get him down to a nice calm level and we'll see if that makes a difference.
Come on, here. This is when he is happiest.
Ronnie's obsessive behaviour isn't limited to chasing his tail.
You just want that ball, don't you? Okay? You're fixated with the ball.
I think he would be obsessed with anything. We give him rope toys and he's obsessed with those. This morning he picked up a plank of wood and he wandered around with the wood for 2 hours.
So he goes from one obsession to the next, but his obsession that he's most likely to do is the tail. Because I'm quite conscious that Ronnie may have had these OCD behaviours for quite a long time, treating his medical issues may not be enough. There's a large aspect of Ronnie's behaviours that might have been learned as well as born with. So I'm going to call on a friend who is a very experienced behavioural trainer to see if she can find the triggers that are causing Ronnie to display OCD behaviours.
Hey, mate. Come on.
Hi, Cassie. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Very good, thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Don't be shocked.
Okay.
It is quite alarming.
Right.
Ronnie is displaying some really, really unusual behaviour.
Poor little guy. I specialise in training dogs, particularly anxious dogs, so I work a lot with vets and behavioural vets to help them treat that anxiety and teach them a new way to cope.
So this is a regular night where he's sitting on the couch with me and I'm patting him.
And so it often happens on the couch?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's actually growling and showing teeth.
That's really intense behaviour. I know, buddy, it's intense, isn't it? The poor dog. That's you.
Even Ronnie seems perplexed by his eccentric behaviour.
Okay.
Wow. So, come on. Poor Ronnie, that's a really intense behaviour, the tail chasing. He's doing it with such a level of emotion. I can see how much he's struggling, so we've definitely got to help him find better coping strategies. Wow.
He's actually growling and showing teeth.
That's really intense behaviour.
Alison has prescribed pain and anxiety medication for Ronnie. But if Cassie can't help to further control his obsessiveness, the little rescue dog may not have any hope of finding a forever home.
Oh.
Ronnie.
He's very good with that ball. You can see he's very, very driven by that ball.
He's obsessed with it.
So now that his anxiety is treated, his pain is treated, we can actually get into modifying some of the behaviour. Part of that is not allowing him to practice it. We also need to have a tool to interrupt him as early as possible. So what we've got to teach him is a positive interrupter. So something that we train that to him equals treats. So he learns that when you make a sound or a word, it means look at you. If he's looking at you, he's not focusing on his tail. So, are you comfortable? Can you make that sound?
Sure.
Good. So he did it straight away there, which was perfect. So remember I said good when he got the behaviour right, and I follow with a treat. Now. Good. Beautiful, then grab your treat.
From a veterinary perspective, I can see how this technique is really valuable to Ronnie.
Yeah.
Good boy. Good boy.
Perfect. Let's go inside to the couch, the area where it triggers it, and let's see if we can actually use this strategy to help him be a little bit calmer.
Okay, sure.
So next up, Cassandra really wants to show Sally and I what to do when Ronnie displays that really, really distressing tail chase.
Do kissing sound. Go be in front of his face. Now let's take him over to the mat. Beautiful. Over to the mat. Follow through. It's always got to be something long lasting that he's going to do for a while, and it's going to help him calm down. Beautiful. Perfect. You did that perfectly. How'd that feel? And it worked.
Okay.
For Ronnie to be adoptable, what we need to see, and I think we have seen that today, is that he can be interrupted. He can listen. He can learn, and that there's a plan in place.
We're setting him up for success. Fingers crossed.
I'm really starting to feel a little bit more positive that we can help Ronnie. He has a huge potential for finding a new home.
See you later. Bye, Sally. We know that Ronnie has some medical issues, but as well that he has other anxiety issues. It really is a collaboration between both worlds to make sure that he has the best hope of getting a new home and becoming a normal pet dog.
Good boy. Good job.
And this week's number one.
I've just recently received an email from Catherine and Scott, who live on this cattle property. Now, they've got a weird problem. It involves a dachshund and a cow. And the bizarre thing is the dachshund could very well be in trouble.
How are you?
I'm Chris.
How are you, mate?
Nice to meet you.
Hi,
Hello,
Chris.
Catherine.
Thanks for coming out.
I've got to say, I've seen some weird things, but I've never seen anything like this.
Schnitzel is just 16 months old. 2 months ago, the dachshund began displaying obsessive behaviour with newborn calves.
It's got to the point where he just will not leave them. He sleeps with them night and day, and unless we dragged him inside to eat, I think he would just stop eating altogether.
What do you think they're offering that you're not?
I don't know. I don't let him lick my mouth.
You ever try?
No, we won't.
As long as he doesn't do that to you.
No, that's right. No, we won't.
That's what I'd be worried about.
Won't be doing that.
And the calf's a lot bigger, and with a good kick, they could really do him damage.
Exactly.
Could kill him.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we were worried about.
I can't help but notice he's got a bandage on his leg. What's going on there?
A bit of tough love. One of his friends stood on his toe.
It's one thing to be trodden on, but it's another thing to be kicked in the head. That could be deadly.
They've actually broken one of his toes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's got a few issues, I think, in the mental department. Yeah. He's probably mad would be the nicest way you could put it.
Something really bad could happen to him if he keeps it up any longer.
Catherine is also worried about her children.
Schnitzel are fine.
When Jake goes near the calves, Schnitzel will actually growl at him. We're not sure if Schnitzel would ever bite him, but it's a bit of a worry. We're going to put some faith in Chris. We're hoping he'll come up with an answer for us.
I'm starting to form a theory. There are some calves that are a little bit older than this one, and I just want to see how he goes with those. Yeah. But see that? A quick lick and he's gone. And I reckon if we follow him here, haha, and look where he goes, straight back. That's really interesting because he's more interested in the younger ones, and there's a reason for that.
The obvious solution is for Schnitzel to be locked up, but that's not working.
I get the impression he doesn't really like being left alone, Catherine.
No, if we lock him up like this, he gets very upset, barks and whines.
I might grab him. I just want to see something with the other real farm dogs and see how he goes with those. I'm yet to see one of them even make eye contact with him. He just doesn't exist.
No.
What's going on, mate?
I do find it fascinating that even with members of his own species, they just ignore him. They give him a big brush. This situation just has to make Schnitzel feel quite alone. You've always got to feel sorry for the little guy. He tries so hard.
You know, I was telling you that he has had some strange friends in the past. Well, we've got some video footage of some of his piglet friends. He actually taught these ones to use the dog door.
Keeps strange company, doesn't it? What that really does show me is that Schnitzel, apart from being mad, is certainly needy. He's always seeking out company. He doesn't like to be left alone. But there's got to be something else that he's getting out of these relationships. Thankfully, I do have a few theories. I'm just going to test them out, and fingers crossed I'm on the right track here.
Okay, Chris, you've had Schnitzel on your leather couch today. You've had a chance to psychoanalyse him.
There's been plenty to do, I can tell you. The first reason he doesn't, apart from being mad, is the fact that when you look around the farm, all the other animals ignore him. He's just a little guy with no friends. But the thing about the calves is they don't. They sit there and they let him do it. Finally, an animal cares about me.
Yeah.
The second reason though, and you're wondering about why he only obsesses over the really young ones, and then as time goes on, he gets less interested.
Loses interest,
You
yeah.
don't. The reason for that is that when a calf's in the placenta, it's bathing in a rich soup of pheromones, essentially, of nutrients. When that calf comes out, it wrecks, almost sends him into a frenzy.
Yeah.
Which he's in right now. So what do? Well, I hate to say it, we actually have to bath the calves to remove those odours.
Okay. I can see how it makes sense.
It's possible, I suppose. Proof will be in the pudding, won't it? We'll see what happens.
It's just like a dog, really.
Well, it probably doesn't shake itself at the end of it.
Oh, you'll see. We've got to really target the smelly spots, which is around the face and the ears, and also around the back end too. He's a bit frightened there. So I guess part two is a bit of calf cologne. So the Vicks Vapor Rub, dogs just hate this smell. It's quite a powerful odour. So right now we have our big test. I'm hoping the smell is going to override that need of schnitzels to have company and that need of schnitzels to find those pheromones. Fingers crossed. Righto, Harry, release the beast.
At the farm, Catherine and Scott are about to find out if Chris's soap and Vicks solution will stop Schnitzel obsessing over newborn calves.
Nowhere to go, Schnitzel.
He does not like that.
Schnitzel. Don't come to me, I did this to you. Taking away your mate. You want to be a people dog now, do you?
Bite him, Schnitzel.
One more sniff? Ooh.
He's a rotten bugger, isn't he? You know, he's ruined it.
Go on, Schnitzel. What about your friend? There you go. Success.
As for the calves, peace at last.
Well, I'll make you a deal. I'll catch him, you wash him and Vicks him.
That sounds almost fair.
Oh, I guess I better take him for a ride on the bike and put some cows out.
Chris has one last suggestion to help Schnitzel. He wants Catherine and Scott to get the dachshund a new playmate all of his own.
Scott's often working outside and I'm going to work. The kids are at school, so I can see how getting another dog would actually be a really good idea for him. Maybe he's looking for some more dependable friends that are going to be around more often for him.
Even the ultimate skeptic, Farmer Scott, reluctantly acknowledges a job well done.
Success, despite the greatest of doubters.
Oh, you're the master.
Oh, thank you, Jake. Thank you, that means a lot. We can now leave this property, head held high, and with Schnitzel, back with the family.
Hi, I'm Dr. Danny. If you enjoyed this video, then please remember to subscribe to the Bondi Vet YouTube channel. Click on the screen now to continue watching more great content.